OG do the impossible and make it look easy. Champions of TI9. Yes, we've reached the end of TI9, and after 6 spectacular days of action, OG are crowned champions, repeat champions. No 2 aegis curse has been lifted after they destroyed the East-West curse last year as well. So curse is falling, Liquid falling in the final after beating LGD in the first series of the day. With me, Marco. How are you?
Yellow. I'm good. I'm good. It's always a funny feeling when TI comes to a close because the investment all year, which obviously has always led up to this event, and then all through the group stage, all through the main stage, the amount of Dota that has been consumed is just crazy. And now for it all to be over, it's just wow. I mean, I feel kind of dazed, but imagine how it must feel if you're in the grand final.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. It's weird that it's like suddenly over after you've built up for so long.
Yeah.
Everything's been micro-analysed, and now there's like nothing left to analyse. It's all been done. All the games are finished. But yeah, we're here to talk about the games, and we'll do that first before we talk about some TI highlights and other things and things we're looking forward to, what's next, all the rest of that. But let's do the games first. Team Liquid versus LGD, that was the first series of the day. China's last hope. LGD crowd was massively behind them here. Game 1, they do end up winning. Long one though, 52 minutes. Quite a back and forth game. They give Tinker to Weeha. It's even for about 25 minutes before LGD start to get an advantage. And Liquid do fight back quite well. There's good holds, mind controls on a Tiny and miracles on Faceless Void. But in this one, it sort of felt inevitable once Arme started getting rolling, and maybe had a great game on Gyro.
So maybe Gyro against Tinker in the mid. We didn't see loads of that matchup, but maybe he killed Tinker once and just through the game was always consistently really farmed and always really active. He was playing super well, and maybe. A player I would highlight, not just for this game, but for the entire series, was Chalice. In this first game, he's playing Centaur, and he's playing the best Centaur probably seen on Pro Dota. Honestly, it was unbelievable. He's top net worth all game. He is making plays all game. He's making space all game. His items are so strong. He's got a hood. He's got a pipe, and a crimson by 23. The Tinker pressure, it's hard to find. The damage of Liquid, it's hard to get through this Centaur. He eventually builds an Aghanims. He eventually builds a consumable Aghanims. This guy is so farmed and doing so much work for his team. Some amazing blink plays. He's got his ult that is just doing so much work. Honestly, he really stood out in this series as carrying LGD on his back a bit, because he made the space basically for a Spec and a Gyro to come online in the mid and late game, and also shut down Liquid with any attempt they had of kind of aggression, Void, Potent, Shadow Demon combos. To me, he was really the story of this game.
He had the highest GPM in the game with a Gyro that's like AFK farming a lot.
Yeah.
And a Midas Spectre that gets a well, actually doesn't get a Rady. But Midas Spectre that's just farming all game.
Arme is farming as hard as he can, yet he still couldn't have more gold than the Chalice Centaur. And this is a 52-minute game, also with a Tinker, yet the Centaur is the most farmed. And does he have the most kill involvement? I think he does. Yep, he has the most kill involvement, 31, on his team by a handful of kills and assists. Utterly dominant Centaur performance, and truly put a marker on the map for Centaur as a hero. You've got to be hesitant to give this guy.
Yeah, for sure. FY, some godly Rubik plays as well.
True. Yeah.
As we'd see throughout the series, I think it's not the only time they give him a Rubik, but particularly in this one, he looked really good. And LGD, once they'd sort of weathered the storm of getting Spectre to be the strongest hero on the map, they just built super tanky on Spectre with a Manta and then a Heart and then a Skadi. And then it felt kind of like the game played itself out a little bit.
It got to the point where Spec had 4k HP, maybe has tanky items, less so, but then you got Centaur with 5k HP as well. Liquid side with the Void and the Tinker couldn't output enough. to break through. And yeah, when you've got a spec against a Tinker, that's also very favourable in the late game with the Horn jumping on the Tinker. So Liquid's strategy of this wacky Tinker pick wasn't able to pull through, and yeah, super solid game. Really, and like you say with the FY, some amazing steals, an individual play there. Exciting game, well worth a watch, or the highlights.
Game 2 then, Liquid pick Templar Assassin on 21, and LGD answer with a last pick Huskar. Very much a hard lane counter to TA, and it felt like the perfect pick, at least pre-Horn, before you get the game going. We are able to keep up in farm, I thought, really well, just jungling. They rotate Rubik mid and just to fade bolt waves.
Yeah, so he does go jungle and he's not that far away from Huskar. Maybe the XP is going to be a bigger difference, but who cares? To me, the bigger reward from the Huskar pick dominating TA to the woods is that then the side lanes of LGD were very strong because there's no mid presence from Liquid that could ever rotate. Yes, you might say TA is a very greedy or very farm heavy mid anyway, but TAs will easily be able to kind of find the way to a side lane to help get a kill here, a kill there. With TA being shoved to the jungle, I don't think that's ever really possible, and I thought that helped LGD really secure the lanes, which they did. They again had Chalice on Centaur, smashed it. They also had Army on Lifestealer. I think he had a pretty fine game. All three LGD calls were doing pretty well, I felt. Yes, Liquid had a mind control Darkseid that was getting a bit farm. Miracle was definitely under pressure. He has a 19-minute Echo Saber. That's not fast at all. And it comes back to LGD having really strong lanes this game. I think, so obviously they don't win this game, but I do think that they executed the draft and that last pick Huskar did do work, and in the mid game they were way stronger. Even going into the late game, it's a 59-minute game. They had a 10-15k gold lead. They were crushing it, and to me the story of the game comes back to Chalice, and there was two moments in particular where LGD are doing these high ground pushes, one in the mid, they get racks, they get a couple buybacks, LGD retreat, disengage, it's fantastic, but then they get too cocky, too confident, and Chalice sent, boom, jumps back in with a blink dagger, and Liquid hold this fight, which it's not the most favourable for LGD because they're running away, low health, spells maybe off cooldown, etc. They think they can take this fight because they're so far ahead, but they don't, and it turns big tide. And then the second time again, they're sieging bottom. They've not got the tier 3. They're looking to get just tower and racks, just slow siege with a lifestealer rage. They're doing fine, but then Chalice with his scent blinks behind the racks, deep into Liquid's base, makes this fight happen that is not favourable for LGD because Liquid do have a fat Miracle on his Sven, and they do have fat Echo Stomp. They have a Darkseer wall. There's a hard lineup to fight into, and Chalice leads his team to kind of death, and then the game flips because Huskar starts to drop and Weehar TA starts to get super scary and Sven starts to get super scary, and to me those two moments were the turning points.
Yeah, I think there was a point bottom when they siege bottom before Chalice had even sort of dived, if you will. Liquid set up this really nice blow on Arme where they have no vision of Liquid's high ground, and Miracle on Sven just stands on the top of the ramp, waits for Arme to start walking up. God Strength, BKB, stun. They basically blow everything. Weehar blinks in, meld hit, blow Arme somehow. This lifestealers with a heart, and Arme instantly buys back because he knows that I think they've blown God Strength, they've blown BKB.
Yeah.
So I buy back. Now they can't kill me, and we might end the game. And then that's when Chalice, it's after that Chalice jumps in.
Yeah.
They're on the run. Now they don't have buybacks on their cores. And there's a Roche. Liquid get Roche from that. And then they're really in the ascendancy. Because not only have they got, say, 3 kills. I believe LGD, they botch a Roche contest as well in this game. Like, they buy back on a few heroes when they can't contest.
Yeah.
Also, Mind Control on the Darkseer, 1 death. Very impressive. It seems like a great combo of Sven. You just surge Sven around for the saves, for the extra, just mobility.
Chase heroes down.
Harder to get kited. And obviously Iron Shell in the early game. And also just Wall. Wall is so annoying when you're either trying to take Roche or push high ground. Mind Control would just slap Wall of Replica down, and then it felt like about 30 seconds.
Yeah, you can't
do anything. These illusions are really tanky, and the slow is really detrimental.
Yeah. That play that you mentioned with Armor getting blown at bottom, that was super cutthroat, because what Armor was going to do, and what most people would, is he's got Rage, so he's going to walk up the high ground, but Rage as he walks up the high ground so that he doesn't get disabled as he goes onto the high ground and starts hitting tower. But what Liquid did is, 100 units before he gets to the high ground, they don't wait for him to get a bit closer, they go on him knowing that's exactly what he's going to do, and before any one of LGD can react, they don't really have any save mechanic anyway, they boom, blow him, and it was, super good kill, and then it's just one kill, but then it causes a crack in the LGD mentality, and like you've said, they are China's one last hope. The pressure is ridiculous. They crack, they buy back when they shouldn't have, they now start making these decisions that start throwing the game, Liquid no momentum shifting, and it starts all crumbling.
Yeah.
So it was a really, really impressive hold from Liquid. I was really sad for LGD to basically throw it away and to not keep the cool, not to keep the mentality strong. But yeah, Liquid, they've been in the lower bracket before. They've played in many TIs before. This LGD team, they have had lots of success in TI as well. But honestly, this China pressure factor definitely got through to them because they seriously stumbled.
Yeah. Game 3, this was much more straightforward for Liquid. LGD came out with a funky draft. They pick Shadow Fiend for maybe, which I thought was really cool because I love an SF. Haven't seen very much of it. Very stylish mid laner. But they end up picking Chalice. They give Chalice last pick and they pick him a Darkseer. And it's not really a game where Darkseer has any real synergy. The cores are SF and Void doesn't really benefit from Surge that much. He already has Time Walk. And SF, again, ranged hero, Magic Burst doesn't really benefit particularly, other than any more than any other hero would benefit from having Surge.
Yeah, Liquid, to me, really identified Chalice as being the critical point of the draft that they need to shut down, and I think they did, because first phase they banned this Centaur we've seen in 2 games, of which in both Game 1 and Game 2, super successful. Liquid then first pick Tide, which we know Chalice would love to play. They take it away first pick.
They also ban Ogre and Lesh that he's picked as well.
Then
first phase.
Oh yeah, Ogre and Lesh, Chalice could get on that as well, take that away. Then so in the second, I think the issue is that they LGD don't pick Chalice's hero in the second phase of picks, because then Liquid's very last ban is another Chalice hero Sanking, which then you've got basically all his best heroes, Sanking, Sen, Tide, Ogre, all gone. And it was like LGD were thinking, shit, what hero can we put Chalice on? And so the only one kind of left was Darkseer 22, and like Stan said, the synergy with a Void or a Shadow Fiend is not really there. I think looking at the picks, instead of maybe the 17, so the 4th pick Shadow Fiend, when Sanking's still in the pool, which we know Chalice is very good at, I mean, I don't mind a Sanking there.
I think it's excellent against TA.
You've got Elder Titan synergized with the magic resistance, you've got the Void, that's fine with the Sanking really, because you've got these 2 big initiations. Then last pick for LGD could be your mid, maybe hero, which, I mean, mid heroes are very, very flexible. The pool is very big, really. But instead, they leave Chalice's hero to the very end, and by the time we get there, his pool's basically gone, and we get this uncomfortable Darkseer that really got destroyed. He got nothing in his lane. He was getting just monstered out of lane by Liquid. I
think they sort of get baited into this Darkseer pick a bit, maybe, because it's come out for Liquid and it's come out for OG, who are the last 2 teams remaining. If they don't play it, they haven't played it yet in the tournament, so I don't think the best time to play it is in an elimination game. It's not like Chalice has no heroes left. It's just heroes that he hasn't played recently, because he's been spamming, Tide and Centaur primarily. But they could pick him like a Batrider or a Legion Commander. These are heroes he's played in the past.
Yeah.
He's never really played Darkseer, to my memory. I'm sure he's a very competent player.
Yeah.
Or else he wouldn't agree to play it. But
yeah.
It just, I think from a viewer perspective, and I would have been hyped to see him on something else, like a Bat or something.
Yeah, that's
it was really. He really didn't have a game. He just didn't have a game.
That's it. Like the Batrider suggestion's a cool one, because I know as well that he's played that hero.
Yeah.
But the point about other people, literally in the last 2 days of TI, bringing Darkseer back to main stage, could have got into LGD's heads. Looking at the Liquid side, the one hero and player I would highlight in this third game was GH on Wyvern. So yeah, Liquid are all on very kind of comfortable heroes. TA, Kuroki Rasta, they've got a mind control tides all looking great. This draft is strong, but to me, the winning ingredient was the Wyvern pick, because it was a complete counter to multiple Chrono and Shadow Fiend Requiem initiations. There was 2 points, one in particular where LGD 5k gold down, 15 minutes in, they're on the ropes, they look for a smoke gang top, they land maybe a 2 or 3 Echo Stomp from the Elder Titan, Shadow Fiend runs in, he's charging up his Requiem, and then boom, Wyvern just Winter's Curse, totally shuts him down.
3 completely disabled.
3 heroes completely disabled, Mind Control waddles in with his Watermelon, blows a Ravage, and that is
huge
just
3-man
complete turnaround. And it happened a few times where the Wyvern just completely nullified the setup of LGD with his Winter's Curse, and to me that pick and just those few plays completely destroyed LGD's draft, and eventually the Wyvern had an Aether Lens and a Blink. You can't even kill the guy.
And he can be positioned so far away from a fight.
Anywhere. Like, the Blink benefits from Aether Lens as well. This guy could be thousands of units of range away in some random trees with his flying Q spell, and then still stop your initiation because of Blink Aether Lens. So it was a really smart pick from Liquid, and they crushed Game 3.
Yeah. And yeah, sad to see LGD go. No Chinese team in the final will be, extremely disappointing for the Chinese scene.
Is that the first TI there's been no Chinese
since TI3
East team in the final since TI3? Is that...
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, not only did they not win it when they wanted to last year, now they're not even in the final this year.
That's brutal.
When it's in their own backyard, when it's in Shanghai. So yeah, very brutal. But Liquid, at this point in the day, their stock's rising. They look good. They look oiled.
Yeah.
And while LGD aren't exactly picking, it's not the most standard LGD drafts, but that's to be expected because it's the later stages of the tournament where each team's being more and more figured out all the time and figuring out new things to try. Liquid look on the rise. They look smooth. They have a set of heroes that they like picking, and at this point it looks really good. It's just in the finals where some of their reliable picks, as it were, the Templar Assassin, the Tide Hunter, start to look a bit iffy, basically, and a bit abused. Let's move to the grand final then. Game 1, Liquid actually win this game, although it was almost a complete Liquid throw before OG seemingly throw it straight back to them.
Yeah.
Team Liquid have I can't see the gold lead there. Well, about 18k lead at 38 minutes, maybe 21k lead, actually. They throw it all the way back to a dire lead, OG lead of 10k.
30k swing.
30k gold swing before OG effectively die on Anna's Spectre without buyback. Oh no, with buyback.
Yeah. Hold it too long.
Yeah.
And the Meepo cleans up base.
Yeah. So this game, I think OG, they get out-drafted in this game because they don't see the Meepo coming on 22. The reason they don't see it... Well, the coach said he saw it coming. I take his word for it, so maybe they did see it coming, but on the face of it, it looked like an unlikely pick because they'd already picked Templar Assassin, which has always been played by Wii. So then, going into the last pick, they banned Gyrocopter, OG do. That's usually a miracle hero, so they're expecting a miracle hero, probably, although maybe they are expecting the Meepo, who knows. But the Meepo comes out nonetheless. And other than Elder Titan, it's an excellent Meepo game. Obviously, ET is an incredible hero against Meepo. But other than that, Tiny, Ench, and Spectre, and Pugna to an extent too, it's really good against all of these heroes. Particularly, I think, critically, Seb's Enchantress. Meepo is a kill on this hero quite easily, and the way OG have been playing Ench, the way lots of teams have been playing Ench is, they just stick this hero in vision, in dangerous-ish positions. It's super hard to engage on this hero with heal and with magic resist, talents and hood if you want to go down that route. But in this game, all of those options are completely shut out, and Seb has to play like a backline Ench. He ends up dying 10 times. He buys a Ghost Scepter really early because just to try and stay alive, because he needs to be not necessarily a meat shield, but like a roadblock for OG that you can't come past me. I'm playing Ench, but the Meepo nullifies that. And Liquid get off to an incredible lead in this game. Topson doesn't really have a game on Tiny. He's creating space. He's running around, blinking through trees to try and cut waves, just delaying for Ana to come online, Eventually, Ana gets a ready, not until 21 minutes. And when he does, it's still looking okay for Liquid until they take one terrible fight where they effectively get chased all the way back, almost into their own fountain.
The fight where it starts turning around into OG's favour is Liquid clean up OG's mid-racks, and then they get kind of caught between two ideas of just retreating or going for more, so going for top racks, because there are a few OG heroes dead, but you're not totally certain of buybacks and that. Mind Control walks through OG's base from the mid lane to the top lane racks, meanwhile the rest of Liquid is kind of retreating. Yeah, then he kind of gets caught out and drags Liquid's team back into the fight, and then this stretched, long fight pans out, and I think there's probably some OG buybacks that then look to take advantage of this bit of disconnect in the Liquid retreat, and it's a classic OG fashion, honestly, that a team trying to retreat or they get caught in two mines, and then OG buybacks start pouncing on these stray kills and they start snowballing kill after kill. And from that moment, I think it was that moment they started to gain momentum. And like you said with the Ana, he starts to finally come online late game. Spec is a beast.
Is this the game where Mind Control, they kind of throw a Roche fight as well, where Mind Control ravages basically for nothing when they've got no follow-up trying to contest this OG Roche? Because I think Kuroki had just died, or GH had just died, and Mind Control tries to ravage to deny the Aegis on Spec.
Yeah.
But it ends up completely failing, and he dies, and he's used Ravage, and OG used that to get loads of racks. In fact, they only had one racks they hadn't taken in the entire game.
So it was all this classic, the classic OG comebacks of TI8 where you break down the enemy teamers, they can't quite end the game, and they start making mistakes, and you start capitalising, and you start snowballing. You've got this late game monster, hero, such a classic OG game, and I thought it was going to be over for Team Liquid, but I believe there was then some heroic hold in Liquid's base. I can't quite remember how the fight panned out, honestly.
They blow Jerax right at the start of the fight. So they get to the back line. They can't kill Ana unless it's 5v1, pretty much.
Yeah.
But they end up getting onto the back line, stopping No-Tail and stopping Jerax.
Jerax was super powerful this game because he had Decrep, and also Seb's Ench had an E-Blade, so the targets that Miracle on his TA and Meepo would be trying to kill, there'd be so many Scepter saves for them, and it was really hard for Liquid to pin these kills down. Meanwhile, Ana, Spec, Tops and Tiny are doing massive work elsewhere. But one of the big turning points of these late game fights was Miracle finally gets a Nullifier, so obviously someone gets Ghost Sceptered, he just gets rid of that, he's got a Bloodthorn, so they can't say Decrep save, and they picked off the backlines of Jerax and No-Tail finally, and I think that was then, I think OG maybe a bit too deep, and you get some big Ravage, maybe some buyback. Team Liquid are able to hold, and then I don't know what would have happened when Team Liquid stormed down to OG's base if Spec had bought back sooner, because he did have it, but then Liquid started going for tier 4s with Meepo TA, and then, I mean, he could have bought back maybe 20 seconds earlier, but by the time he does, Liquid then just ignore OG and go buildings, and 5 Meepos, is it?
Yeah.
With a TA, just blow them in 5 seconds. And
not all of OG's heroes are up. I think there are 2 heroes that are dead without buy anyway.
Yeah.
But at this point, Ana is the ultimate hard one, so maybe they would have had a chance if he'd bought back straight away, who knows.
Yeah.
Maybe he just gets silver edged by Meepo and dies.
Maybe, yeah.
It's hard to say.
The final comment I would have on this game is that I felt like it went Team Liquid's favour because of the mid lane matchup, but not necessarily the 1v1, but whose Jerax hero was as well. So in this game, there was a Tops and Tiny and a Jerax Pugner. If your 4 is a Pugner, it's very defensive, and that was its purpose, these Decrep saves. We just want the games to go late for a Spec. Spec's not a fast-paced mid-game hero. He wants to go late. That was OG's idea. So then, because your 4 playmaking for Jerax isn't on this more tempo-aggressive hero, I felt like Tops and Tiny wasn't able to get online early in the mid-game and to snowball and have momentum. I think Liquid Miracle on his TA was able to withstand the Tiny and maybe even beat him in the mid lane matchup, and is never going to be threatened by a Pugna rotation, and was able to have more of a game from the mid lane hero, which then gave Liquid momentum in that mid game. Meepo was kind of having a solid game, and then the draft just gains momentum that 20-30 minutes Liquid really capitalise on, and to me that was the big crux in this game. And you see in games 2, 3, 4 the matchup of who Jerax is and who Topson is, and how they synergize as positions, mid and like roam, changes massively to OG's benefit, and we'll see that in the next games. Do we see that in game 2? So yeah, I mean, I think you do see it in game 2, 3, 4. Who's Jerax? He's tiny in game 2, and you've got a Topson Monkey, classic, absolute classic hero of his, probably his best hero, would you say? Definitely one of his top 3. So he's going to automatically have a pretty sufficient game in the mid, and he's against TA again. But this time he's got tiny Jerax that all he does in the first 10 minutes is walk from lane to lane looking to get kills with some toss combos, like tossing a hero back into the mix or avalanche. All he's doing is boots, brown boots, picks up a bottle 8 minutes. He's never looking to make pressure in a lane. He's just looking to be off the map, going from lane to lane, and he did that perfectly. It enabled Topson's Monkey King immensely. Topson then has basically the perfect Monkey game. He's got a 14-minute Echo. He's got the levels. He's got the gold, and he's
Radiance at 22 minutes.
So Echo Radiance at 22, incredible amount of gold, and he's just able to have the freest game of his life because he's off to a flying start because of this Jerax position 4. And when you've got a TA mid, but your 4 is an Enigma, obviously you're not getting any support there. The TA just gets run over, and then OG just have this pace that cannot be matched.
Yeah, I mean, Liquid went greedy this game. Really, Enigma jungle was quite a greedy pick. We on a TA, a Miracle on a Lifesteal, they all want to farm. TA is not the same lane dominator as she was before, when you could deny creeps with refraction bonus damage.
Yeah.
And this Monkey matchup, they obviously like it against TA. They had absolute last pick, did OG, and they went with Monkey King. And it's the matchup perhaps favourable to Topson, even more so when Jerax is there. So they get Topson off to a really good start. And Ember Spirit, it's like, if Topson's flying around the map making space, the way OG go in this game, they just give Anna a hero like Ember Spirit that can do exactly the same thing. So this game really is just, even though the subsequent games are even less, this was just brutal. This was the first of 3 brutal, not just beatdowns of games. And it was super cool to watch the 2 cores of OG just fly around the map, kill after kill after kill.
The pace is scary. They've got 40 kills in 32 minutes.
Yeah, it's absurd. Topson's 16, 3 and 18, Anna's 12, 2 and 20. I mean, it's just, the pace is unbelievable. Mind Control, 12 deaths on a Tidehunter.
Yeah,
32 minutes in. I mean,
17-minute phase boots on Mind Control. He just got absolutely romped by... I mean, what even did he get wrecked by? There was an Anna and a...
No.
What's it? Grimstroke. That's a very good combo that OG often do run, the Grimstroke Ember. Don't you Inkswell the Ember, and you've just got this really long lockdown. You've got the shield damage over time, but then you've got Monkey online from minute 6, just flying lane to lane as well. Jerax roaming lane to lane as well. The pace and the aggression was just way too much, and like Stan said, the greed of Team Liquid's lineup, Enigma, PA, Lifestealer, alright, those 3 heroes are not coming online anytime soon. Then even your 3 position is a Tide, who, it's not like a Sand King or a Centaur who've got spells they can use off cooldown. Tide's just got one big spell. He can't really rotate to a lane and help out much. So Tide as well is very slow hero.
It felt like they sort of they opened the door for OG to do something like this when their first 2 Tide TA. So first 2 Tide TA,
yeah.
On the other side, Grimstroke Tiny first 2 for OG. Such an aggressive pairing there. And they back it up with an Ember Spirit and an Ember. I mean, what can you say? This guy's Ember Spirit is so good, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
There were 2 moments of just pure outplay brilliance. One, killing Mind Control top, where Ana basically mans up when he has 10% HP versus like a 50% HP Tide. And through cancelling Tide's animations with like moving away with a chains, and then Tide goes for another right click and he sleight of fists. Then he has the flame guard. Then he uses a steer. That's just like unbelievable use of spells and items. And another one where he gets shackled up, I believe, from Kuroki and hexed. And you think, oh, for sure, Anna's dead here. They got him. That's really good for Liquid. Huge kill. And then he does a sleight of fist remnant out on like a slither of HP and just perfectly executed. And I mean, Anna won with this hero at the last TI, and playing it again here on the main stage was cool to see.
And then just to round off OG's lineup, Seb was on an Omni Knight, and it complements the aggression of every other hero so well, because it's an Omni Knight that's going to keep you alive, that's going to heal you back up, it's going to give you some save with a GA. Really, really nice Seb hero to round off the draft. And it's crazy because the drafts against each other and then the play styles seen from the players was just unbelievable. But this is a Kuroki Team Liquid that is getting beat down. This is one of the most respected captains, drafters the game's ever seen. Team Liquid are an incredibly competent team, and they just could not keep up, and it really is scary.
Yeah, it was looking silly. Like,
yeah,
it was like a pub stomp. It was like a Smurf stack pub stomp, just the level of aggression. Liquid did not help themselves at all with their picks, and then OG just a pace that no other team at this tournament can seem to output.
Yeah.
A lot of teams, a lot of matchups earlier in the main stage have been these slower, drawn-out games, your Secrets, your Vicis, and then a lot of middling teams that, like maybe like Liquid and NEG and LGD, they can execute strategies well and know how to win in their own way. And then OG, they're like the only team that just have this beat-down strategy of just slapping down teams in 20 minutes. I mean, just so fast-paced. This TI is like the opposite of last TI, where Somnus said in True Sight, OG, the ultimate turtle team, as one of his lines. But then this year, it's like the complete opposite. It's just CIS, Dota, run at you craziness.
More of the same, game 3.
Yeah. 23-minute victory in this one. 11 kills to 36. This game, Topson Pugner, just absolutely out of control. What can you say? This game was ridiculous from Topson. Perhaps the biggest like standout performance you could say of any of the games in the grand final. Just destroying Wii's TA and then just destroying the game and matching up with the help of Jerax's Tiny again, doing bits, roaming around, and then No Tail with the soul binds, setting up double suck plays for, I mean, out of control. Topson 17-3-11, and it's just over at 23 minutes.
Yeah, this one again to me all comes back to the Jerax on his Tiny. Again, the impact he made on the mid lane was just too critical. So already this is particularly brutal because already 1v1 Topson Pugner against Wii's TA was outschooling him. He was decrepit and getting multiple denies off. The CS was just going so heavily. It was
like 6 denies from the first 2 waves or something.
Yeah, seriously. Serious outclass from Topson on the Pugner, so massive credit to him. But then Jerax on this incredibly mobile and aggressive Tiny, moving from lane to lane off the map, he, to me, was the reason that Topson was then able to absolutely crush kills.
Turn it into a win.
And turn it into a win. And then when Topson gets a 5-minute Veil pre-boots, his damage output with Tiny, who's also got magic damage, was just unmatchable. And they would then just clean up kill after kill after kill. Team Liquid in this game tried to match the aggression in those sub 10 minutes. They'd have Miracle on his Jug, rotated into these little skirmishes to try and give that bit more damage to Team Liquid's side. But OG would just literally blow multiple heroes up at once with AoE Nether Blast and all the AoE Tiny spells.
Even the Stroke of Fates.
Stroke of Fate.
Everything's just buffed.
And by 8 minutes, OG, every lane has been crushed. They have got so much more gold and XP. Liquid, go back up so I can see their heroes. They have an Ogre 5 and a GH4 on his Rubik. And again, this Mind Control Tide, which is a very, very slow hero. And Tide got crushed in the lane by Anna Notel. So Tide's not a factor. And then is your Ogre and Rubik going to TP into a skirmish and turn it around? Absolutely not. They're just going to get blown by these low cooldown spells of OG. Now the Tiny and Pokemon just blowing heroes for days. And then, going back to Seb as the final piece of the puzzle, he's on this self-sufficient Ench that, okay, 2 deaths, it's an Ench, it's very hard to kill.
Bully Jug out of the lane.
Bully Jug's out the lane, level 6 Ench, Jug goes woods. Even when Jug has got level 3 Blade Fury, you can't kill the Ench because he just heals and you can't output enough damage. Self-sufficient, just dominates the off lane on his own. We've seen Ench dominate some games at the main event, or a lot of games at the main event. So then, just OG crush, and we get a 23-minute GG because they crush so hard. It's just on another level. And again, Kuroki, God Gamer, cannot put up a fight against this OG.
Yeah. And tied TA again. It would be the last time.
Yeah.
But this was one time too many, I think, for a lot of people. When they watched this draft, they would have been like, really? Again? You're going with a tied TA combo? And they banned Monkey King here in this game. But it doesn't matter. It's not about the hero, I feel like. It's about the playstyle. And yes, Topson does end up winning this mid matchup, and then Jarek's coming in on Tiny to turn that already sort of outplay win just into like a game crush. But it's the playstyle. OG are going to run at you if you're going to pick a hero like Tide with a one spell on a high cooldown, and a hero like TA that needs to be at the top of the network and needs to be farming.
I think what OG did, I think what the teams OG faced thought they could do is, let's do this really solid 2-on-2 lane matchups where an Ogre Jug lane, it's pretty strong. We can Bloodlust the Jug and he can stand up against the Ench and touch ball. We've got off lane, Rubik Tide. Ooh, yeah, Tide, strong lane, and Rubik. Ooh, use your W on the enemy carry, so we're going to put him under pressure. Too stagnant, too stale. OGs go, okay, every game we're going to put Seb on a self-sufficient offlaner, be it Omni Knight, be it Ench, be it Timbersaw. Jarex is then going to have freedom to roam like you would see, like Stan mentions on CIS Dota, like a VP Roger would do. He'd be roaming lane to lane. Where does he go? Goes to mid. What happens? He just wins mid for Topson, who in this game is already winning it 1v1, and just then Topson's now freed of any chains of being this like mid CS creeper, like don't mean like a DK Somnus wants to just hit creep for 10 minutes, but at minute 5 on OG's cases, Topson is completely free to just blow the game up like it's a pub, and he does that. And then he goes lane to lane getting kills, and then it just completely snowballs, and Team Liquid got these static, low-paced 2-on-2 lineup that cannot withstand the aggression, and it's too good.
It's GG, and we haven't even mentioned Anna, who's just like sitting, farming creeps on a void.
Yeah.
The only time...
So common.
It's funny because Liquid would rotate 5 heroes to go toe-to-toe with OG, often not even getting favourable trades and giving Topson kills on this Pugna with a Veil.
Yeah.
And OG aren't even 5. There's an Anna just farming top wave.
Yeah.
And it's so...
And that's what happens just when you play this faster-paced, higher aggression team lineup that OG has always been doing, where if you can start putting your foot down on the pedal from minute 5, minute 6, you then can start forcing these unfavourable rotations from Team Liquid, because they felt like they had to rotate 5 heroes to the mid lane, but then it turns out it's just a 5v3 and OG are kind of just playing with them almost. Then 2 heroes free to farm, and it's just the snowball happens so fast.
And then the final game 4, 24 minutes, and this one's kind of interesting because this one basically, it wasn't like the last one where OG were quote unquote winning, or at least obviously winning from minute 1. This one appeared even, but this is the thing with IO, is when you get 15 in Ags, it doesn't matter what it was like before. This is a new game because there's a new strongest hero on the map almost no matter what. So even though Liquid had looked good up to that point, OG just effectively win as soon as that comes online. And OG know it. I've watched all of OG's games. This tournament, I was super confident at, say, 8 minutes into the game. I was pretty confident that OG would win because I've seen how games just turn on their head at this point. All they have to do is buy time. And they've got heroes that are excellent at buying time. They've got so much deepest on a Timber. They've got Tiny who can find picks that delay games or just blow waves. No Tail to save heroes. And a Gyro with cooldown and flak and rocket barrage that can throw out waves, can be annoying around the map, running around. And Liquid have a lineup that kind of falls off. I mean, they have a Bristleback Miracle, which needs to win the game by 25 minutes, unless there's a huge, huge lead. They finally give Wii a different hero. They give him Wind Ranger, which was cool to see. It is, in theory, it's a good Wind Ranger game. You're against Io, you're against Timbersaw, you're good against these heroes. In the end, though, it's not enough, and Liquid go to push bottom high ground with an Aegis, and that's like the peak of their strength.
Yeah.
The problem is, at that moment, that's when Io gets level 15 as they push high ground.
Top high ground, yeah.
Top high ground, yeah. And so it's, great. Maybe if this was 2 minutes earlier, OG give up a Rax. Maybe. But even then, probably not, because they've got so much D-push. They would just buy another 2 minutes, I think, quite easily. Liquid, they felt rushed, and IO comes online, and you may have beaten Secret, but you're not beating OG because they're the original. They're the OGs of this carry IO, and that was that.
Yeah, I was glad to see Wii on a different mid and getting classic Wii Windrunner, but he definitely didn't do enough work, and he was kind of again losing this 1v1 matchup mid against Thompson. I'm not sure how much impact the Tiny had, but I feel like, Thompson solo killed the Windrunner once or twice, and the CS war was going way favourably to Thompson, so already, just in an isolated 1v1 mid matchup, Liquid we were struggling a little bit. That's bad to see. But I do think that this win of OG's is the most impressive. I really like the No-Tail ABBA pick, which for certain, it wasn't I don't think, it's for certain it's a pick they knew or they were ready to pick up when the game was right, and this game was right for it because Liquid responded to the carry Io with their own meathead bristleback, meaty heel strat Omni Chen. So Omni Chen with the first two picks, and I was really I'm confident in this because the kind of the heel strats we've been seeing of just not a team not being able to bring down the enemy team because they've got so much sustain. I really liked it. Chen's Amplify heal, Omni Knight obviously lots of heal. Okay, then you put that behind Bristleback, who we know should be dominating lanes and then should be getting good farm, and he comes online with his meaty pipe solar, ideally a good timing to then ideally clean the game up. Okay, Liquid's draft, you can see it in play, and like you said, it was kind of working. They were on the front foot. Io Anna doesn't come online until he's got Ags, doesn't come online until he's level 15. So what do OG do? They get this Abaddon, who's amazing sustain, amazing defensive capability. They get a Thompson's Gyro who can, like you say, do bits of work. You can do damage without items. You can delay the game, can find pick-offs with a Tiny.
Yeah.
Amazing pick. We called it. The Timbersaw came out and it was put on Seb. Why does the Timbersaw come out? Well, it's because Liquid have a BB, a Bristleback, and an Omni Knight, and an Earth Spirit. 3 meathead heroes. Timbersaw is just a natural counter, okay? Again, self-sufficient Seb hero. He gets picked. He's a great natural counter as well.
1v1 versus MC.
Gets
free farm.
Favourable 1v1, so that's all going well. Liquid, they have this fight. They get an Aegis. It's going really well for them, but then it's incredible how OG just know their own timing and power and power spike as a team so well that, like Stan says, the push top that happens is literally happens when Ag's level 15 IO comes online, and they're able to output more damage and just the heal sustain. Liquid themselves didn't have enough damage, and to me the drafts are very similar, that you've got an IO on one and a Bristleback on the other, and you've got them both like meathead up and protected and sustained by the rest of each team, but OG just executed it that bit better, and Liquid weren't able to break OG down. OG were able to break Liquid down. They were able to sustain through Liquid's firepower. Liquid weren't able to sustain through OG's firepower. And then, before you know it, 9 minutes later, they're just getting rolled, and it's 24-minute GG.
Yeah.
Super impressive.
OG are just more in touch with how strong they are at certain points in the game than any other team, it seems like. And particularly when they run this IO strat. All they're doing with their other 4 picks, pretty much, other than the Gyro maybe, they're just trying to get IO to that point. No-Tail, why is he a 5 ABBA this game? Well, because you tether the ABBA, he heals you with Miscoil, ABBA gets the health back. Mega sustain, perhaps the best sustaining
possible
lane partner with Io. So Io is tri-lane against. They run a tri-lane. Bristleback, Chen, Earth Spirit. aggressive tri-lane with a bristle.
But Io dies once that whole game.
Yeah, Io dies once, and Ana just survives. And again, they know how critical their towers are. Liquid try and kill this mid tower forever. Seb TP's in to defend it as this fat farmed Timbersaw that counters their heroes. Does he go for kills? No, he just goes for the creeps so that they can't push this mid tower. He's not interested in using his relative advantage to get kills, particularly unless it's just wasting time. He's interested in killing the creeps so the push stops. He's interested in wasting the time so Io can farm.
He wants his 19-minute Greaves, which...
Yeah, and then Greaves is just...
ridiculous with an Io.
Great, I've got Greaves now with an Io, yeah.
Tevering double heal and all this.
And they move Seb bottom, they move No-Tail bottom, No-Tail pulling creeps away. They're just so in touch with what they need to get Io online, defending their towers really hard, cool, cute little tricks, pulling creeps away, and all this stuff, you know. Topson dropping happy to drop his cooldown just to destroy a creep wave in a dangerous situation if Liquid are shaping to push a tower. They'll get there first. They'll get there first to D-push on OG, and it's ridiculous. First of all, it's ridiculous how strong this IO timing is. Second of all, it's ridiculous how well OG are able to abuse that timing.
Yeah.
Because literally, they are defending their high ground from a Bristleback Aegis with an Omni Knight Shen lineup. Literally 1 minute later, it feels like Liquid actually can't win the game. They can't kill a hero.
Yeah.
Feels a minute later they can't kill a hero because they're so good at executing the power spike and abusing the power spike. And honestly, so I don't know what time they go high ground on a Bristle.
Can you find out when the Aegis was? They got Aegis? Go down? I'm
not sure. Probably around. Oh, this is when they all die. So probably about
they get Aegis, but at the exact same time,
19 minutes, I think.
They get Io, Ags, and 15, and Greaves Timber.
Yeah.
And it's like you say about if that push came literally a minute earlier, because the moment Bristleback went on the high ground, Io literally dinged 15 and had finished his dags.
And there's a Greaves.
That
all happens at minute
Imagine
19.
if the push comes a minute or two earlier and those three factors aren't online, the story is completely different. And then you go, why aren't they pushing a minute or two earlier? And then that comes to the rest of OG. Well, it comes to the play style of Topson so good on his mid gyro and the Jerax tiny making space, and it comes also to the draft of the Abba sustain.
A Seb that's on a hero that's
Seb
super.
Timber.
They love picking Seb a hero that's just really hard to kill, really hard to deal with. And then it was the same story with LC actually in an earlier game with the IO carry against Newbie. Or maybe it was in the group stage. They just move Seb on an Ent/Timber/LC that's impossible to kill to just go and D-push and defend towers and be super annoying. Delay. Because they know how
perfect timing.
Because they know how critical these minutes are,
Yeah.
these seconds are that turn into minutes, that turn into one games when they reach their power spike.
Thinking about this game even more from the perspective of Liquid, I think this is my own view, but if they reflect on that game, I think they'll go, or at least my belief is that they focused too much on trying to secure kills in the early game. So there was, like you mentioned, the tri-lane they ran, aggressive tri-lane. Quite often they look to get a kill on Io or Abaddon, and the combo is ridiculous for the sustain, and they never quite were able to. Even mid lane skirmishes that you mentioned where Seb would rotate to kind of help defend. Because of this Windrunner hero, they
think they want to get kills.
They think they want and can get kills, but actually, if you're to think about what the optimal execution from Liquid would be, given they're against this IO timing, is, like we've mentioned, hit your own time in 2 minutes earlier, get your Bristleback, not trying to chase down heroes in the lane for kills, but just get your creep and get your items. You literally don't need to kill heroes if you're Liquid. You just need to get your items and Aegis 2 minutes earlier than you actually did, then go high ground before OG's crazy timing, and the game will be completely different. But then they don't do that, and it comes back to the fact that OG know their own timing and know their own draft and execution that bit better, and even understand what Liquid should have done better, really, because, do you know what I mean, they run the IO, so they probably, or certainly know how you beat the IO, do you know what I mean, if they're that common and comfortable with the IO pick. On the other hand, Liquid and Crokey, they didn't, and they tried to get too many kills, and they didn't push fast enough, and they didn't get those timings quite quick enough. Maybe, I don't know what heroes you would change on Liquids. I don't think you need to change any Liquid heroes. I think it's more that you need to execute your draft that 2 minutes faster and to focus on kills which you can't get don't focus on that. Get your creeps a bit faster. But they didn't, because it's TI, and it's because it's a new strategy that's hard to understand off the 5-minute draft period. So all this just comes together to be like, OG deservedly win and crush a competent Team Liquid to take 2 times TI. So it feels bad.
One thing I would say as well, a final thing, something we haven't mentioned that further illustrates how much OG understand their strategy and understand how it's beaten and what they need to do to make sure they win the game with this power spike is Topson builds a diffusal blade on a gyrocopter. Super, super uncommon item. You never see this. He gets it at 17 minutes. He's had a good game. Why? Because he's against a Bristleback and an Omni Knight that need mana to sustain their push. That's like the one limiting factor is the mana off of their push. And so if he can just drain their mana, it's way harder for them to play. And also he knows that a Bristleback wants to get buildings. He's running up, quill spraying with Warpath, hitting the building. Topson's going to get 3 hits off. Because the cores just want to hit buildings quickly because they know the longer they wait, they've got Anna coming with a power spike. So I thought that was just another thing that was just a cute way of, illustrating how much a tier above OG were in this grand final.
Yeah.
And like Marco said, they win 2 TIs, the first team to do it. I get battle points for my prediction because I put them going all the way in the upper bracket. So there you go.
Yay.
I don't get points for saying that Team Secret would win though. I'll take it. I'll take an OG Aegis over some battle points for my compendium that's soon to go.
At least one of us is happy.
Yeah, at least one of us is happy. One of the 3.
Yeah, we need a reaction. 10-minute reaction pod from Adam to see how he feels about his worst, least favourite Team OG winning. I'm sure he's not a happy bunny.
Yeah. That's TI for another year, but maybe the biggest news of the day. TI next year.
Oh, yes.
EU TI confirmed.
TI.
Stockholm, Ericsson Globe. Will New Meta Podcast be there?
On the panel.
You're damn right they will be.
We've tried to Gabe already.
That was the most exciting announcement. That was
so hype. Yeah, oh my god.
So hype.
Because we'd been to Dream League Major in Stockholm, so we recognised the Ericsson Globe building that they have there. And so they kind of showed half of it and then started showing each of the TIs at the different arenas. And we're like, is this what we think it's going to mean? And then they reveal TI10 Stockholm and it's, EU TI. Yeah. So the Mecca will happen.
Huge.
Absolutely
massive.
Yeah.
And what a pleasure it's going to be seeing OG 3P in the Ericsson Grove. So, yeah. Favourite moments?
Yeah, favourite moment TI. I'll kick it off and say one of them would be the Artor Lifestealer 1v5 we saw in the group stage. That's
Feature Gaming.
And that's going to go down in history, I think, because it wasn't like it was a stompy rampage, like we said back at the time. The game was very even. EG nearly get wiped and probably throw the game. Artor mans up 1v5 Lifestealer and rampages, and we're on the floor just screaming. It's absolutely mad. So that'd be one of mine.
Trying to think about some of my favourite moments. Definitely, I think OG versus Newbie, the first game in the upper bracket. The IO Bristle, where they just stand with Topson back to the fountain, just triple kill. Pilot says, okay, GG.
Okay, GG.
That was crazy fun. I was just laughing. It was the NA TriCast. I know it wasn't. I'm thinking about the earlier group stage. But when IO Carry first came out in the group stage, that's another one for me because that was the NA TriCast. They had no idea what was going on because they didn't know it was a strat yet. Trying to work out what's happening and just laughing. Kyle, BSJ, Grant, maybe my favourite casters because they're always so fun, and that was an awesome moment. Honestly, the grand finals this year, it's not as... It's almost more like, wow. Last year it was like, oh my god, what are these games out? Like, what is happening? Like,
this year's finals was like art. Like, it was like art, scientific LGD or objective approach of LGD versus artful approach of OG. This TI finals was art. It was just wow. Just comprehend how
good you can be. Yeah.
How good you can be at this game, and how these are the two best teams in the world, and one of them got crushed to obliteration. Oh my god, it's insane. So it's art. Last year was more like crazy action-packed, Fast and Furious.
Like throws, buybacks, craziness, like what's going on, super long games.
So a very different kind of grand final.
This was just like, welcome to TI. This is what can happen in a grand final. You didn't think Dota could be solved like this.
Yeah.
But it has been. Here it is. Here's 3 20-minute victories in a row to just destroy what you thought competitive Dota was. Like, it's almost like, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's meant to be marketed as the most competitive, high-quality Dota in existence, and then you get to the grand final and it looks like EG are scrimming a tier 4 NA team. There's just no competition.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. EG beating Secret for me was a big hype moment because they were really good series, very back and forth, and EG played incredibly well, I felt, and obviously being a big fan, I really enjoyed watching that. And also the Mineski Secret series, all those games were bonkers because they were so swingy back and forth. They would be probably my highlights. Yeah,
there were some. I really liked the Duster appearance of EG. That was super funny. That content was so good.
There've been some good interviews, I think, this year with Casey interviewing the likes of Puppy, Kuroki, some of the Chinese players as well. Like we saw Chalice, Xnova.
I liked the
Vici content was funny.
I liked the piece with Anna and Seb, like the outtake from their Australia piece where Seb's talking about Anna like triggering him
OG
by saying before TI7 that they have no strats that are good or like
the day
like
before TI and they're like excuse me.
That was funny.
A rest in peace moment is the Alliance draft mistake, which arguably cost them the best of one against RNG. They definitely could have had a little run. That was really sad to see, but hopefully they'll be strong next season. I think they'll have a lot of motivation to do well next season. Two new heroes to come.
Come. Word from us, looking into the future now. Bit of a break for the pod. Don't know how long for. Maybe a couple of weeks or something.
Yeah.
Probably take 2 weeks out. We have just slapped out like 1 million pods in a row. Hope you've enjoyed these dailies. We've enjoyed doing them.
Yeah.
They've been a lot of fun. TI would basically just take a week out of our lives every year. I'm more than willing to do it again next year, either in the person, maybe live pods. Who knows?
Oh, pilgrimage to TI. That live pods would be fun.
We'll see. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed them. And what are you looking forward to next season? Really, just roster shuffles. I'm looking forward to.
It'd be interesting to see how roster shuffles play out. If OG changes, if EG changes. I am very interested in 7.23. Like I mentioned to you yesterday, I think the change will bring more than just. It will bring more than just balance patches. It'll do more than nerf IO and tiny ags. It will, I think, bring new features to the game, maybe to the client, or just kind of macro changes to the map or something, or these new features that they'll incorporate, new spell changes.
Items, all sorts.
New items getting brought in, that's always very exciting. And obviously 2 new heroes is pretty hype. So there's going to be quite a bit to look forward to at the start.
And then building up, it feels like for me, because I know, we're probably going to want to go to TI10, put it that way.
Yeah.
So this year's going to feel like it's building towards TI more than any other.
Yeah.
Because I'm already looking forward to going next year. So yeah. But yeah, thanks for joining us again. Hope you've enjoyed these daily pods. And I don't know how long it will be, but before too long we'll be back with normal Dota content.
Yeah.
Game strategies.
If you're missing us, just come to the Discord, say hi.
Yeah, come to the Discord, say hi.
Clapper.
Yeah, watch this space. Bye.
Ciao, ciao.